Okay, welcome back, guys. So we're going to be focusing on, let's start by focusing on the on the hoodie. So I have a few just two reference though of a hoodie in here. So we're going to be using, there's not so much going on in here, but we're going to be using the detail, some of the information in here to kind of sculpt some details for our own hoodie. Like for example, I'm going to be taking this detail in here. You can see the detail in here. This for that, and then also around the neck, a bit thicker, more rounded around the neck. Same also with somewhere around the ear. So let's get started. Let's get started. So let me just put this around here. Then I'm going to isolate the hoodie. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is to crank up the subdivision level for this up to somewhere around 3 million. Even 1.8 million should be fine, but let's get something around, okay, we have something around 2.9, that should be fine. So I'm just going to do a quick test for this just to see. So I'm going to more or less like drag in, like put some alpha in here, and let's see the detail that gives us. This looks fine, I guess. Let's see if we can subdivide this one more time. Okay, we're having something around 11 million, which might be too much though, but I think we can safely use that. Shouldn't be too much trouble. I think that should capture most of the detail we want to add in here now. So I'm going to go down to layers, and I'm going to create a new layer. Probably name this to base folds. Okay, and base fold should be fine. So on this particular layer, I'm more or less going to be accentuating some of all this fold and wrinkle detail in there. So I will start by going to a much lower subdivision level for this. Not the lowest though. Okay, not the lowest. Somewhere around. Let me just show you there. Somewhere around subdivision level 2 for this should be fine. So I'm going to be using the standard brush for this. Let me take down the smooth intensity. And I'll just more or less, oh, let me remove this alpha we added in there, and remove pleasing mouse for this. Take down the intensity. So I'm holding Alt and I'll just dig in here a bit. accentuate this a bit more. At the same time, I don't want to go crazy on this and make this begin to feel so unnatural. So I'm just basically sculpting on existing folds. Okay. So I'm just doing like base on this lower subdivision level, just pushing things and pulling things out basically. I'm trying not to go too crazy on it. Okay. Let's see if we can do something around here also. Let me take this down. So I'm just doing gentle strokes. Shouldn't be too obvious, but should still feel like it's there regardless. Okay. So right. Let me go into the hoodie itself. So dig that in. Make this feel a bit more obvious. Okay. I'll still go one subdivision level higher though. Let me just roughly block some of this in. This way too bright. Pulling this out a bit more. And I'll push that in like so. out, push this in, out, push this in, inwards, out, inwards, out, outward, outward, in, like so, in, outward, in. You probably accentuate this, pushing this in a bit more. We're also going to later check this out to know if it's not, to check if it's not intercepting with the body way too much. But for now, let's just block all of this in. I think it should be. Let's see if we can use. Let's see some of this detail now. Let's see some of this detail. I probably need to even go. Let me increase this a bit more. And let's create some new folds in here. Probably the intensity is a bit too much though. Okay, check this from this angle. The beauty of this is that when you kind of do this on a low subdivision level, then you move one step to a an higher subdivision level. Kind of blends in properly. Kind of appreciate the low level detail you added on it. I don't want it to be too obvious though, but it should still be there. So I'm basically adding and smoothing some of those back. I think for this we might need a bit more subdivision level to kind of make this more visible. But let's just see if we can just roughly, yeah, we can roughly block that in. The subdivision level is just low for this. So I'm going one subdivision level higher, so around subdivision level 3 for this. Okay. Then I think we can do a better job in here now. Okay. Let me get a bit closer in here. Okay. Okay, that should be fine. That should be fine. Okay. So, okay, yes, I think on this subdivision level, I can begin to make some more, make this, make some more closer or more detailed fold. Let me just put this around here. So I'm basically just going on top of the pre-existing folds. I'm making them feel slightly more interesting. It's more, more or less like adding secondary folds to this, but still respecting the flow of the original folds in there. Just to add some, oh man, there's an issue in here. I need to push this down. I'll need to fix this up ASAP. So since we already have this on different poly groups, I can just go down to a lower subdivision level. That's a bit too low. We remove brush and push this down. Take down the move size. I think something around here should be fitting. Yeah, that's fine. And back to the standard brush. I'm back to subdivision level. Yeah, subdivision level 4 should be fine also. Let me go let me go a bit. Okay, yeah, subdivision level 4 should be fine. So back to the same standard brush. The idea is that with smaller with smaller brush size, you can add more secondary details to this, just like as I'm doing now, just to break up the detail a bit more and add like a secondary pass on top of it. I think I'm going to go to subdivision level 3 for this. Like I said, respecting the original flow in there, but just more or less accentuating some parts. And smoothing some of those out, so it doesn't become too noisy. And I'm not just blocking this in, I'm kind of following a particular flow to it. The inward part is just way too high. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. No, this is fine, so I need to just push this. I need to just bring this, guys, the edge, just the edge. need to bring this edge down. Let's see if we can do this with symmetry turned on, so we can move a bit faster. Kind of missed this, mixed fixing this edge. So let's just get this down, just this edge, just this edge. And basically do what we did for the previous ones. So move this down like so. I'll select this also and put this down. Turn on symmetry for that. Okay, that should be fine. All right, back in here to the secondary fold. So standard brush. Okay. I think we should be almost done with this now. And take down the size of this, make something a bit sharper in here. Okay. I think we have similar issue in here also. So with the move brush, we'll just gently close this up. Okay. I think we can leave, I don't know, maybe we can leave this the way it is now. I think this should be fine, I guess. Let's go down. Let's go down here and then continue adding some folds. Okay. So accentuating what we have already established in here. Okay. Kind of respecting the flow we already have in here from the base mesh, but just adding on top of that. and smooth out some parts where we need to, just to blend that back in. This okay. What else? You can always take your time to kind of make this feel more interesting if you want to do. But I think to play it safe, I might just have to stop in here. Okay. Yes, I think this is a good spot. I think this is a safe spot also. Just do a quick save for the file. Right. I think I'm going to add this later on. When I'm done adding some of all this detailing around here, I would need to, yes, I would need to also create this in here. Yeah, something like this should be fine. Then I'll match that on later on. Should have done that earlier before bringing it into Maya, but it's not really a big deal. It's not so much of a big deal actually. So I want to kind of add some kind of roundedness on the borders of this seam. So I can basically do that with my with the standard brush. Yeah, I think doing that with standard brush should be fine. Maybe maxing out. Okay, let's try with the standard brush. Let's try with the standard brush first. Let me start by maxing just this frontal part first. Or maybe completely isolate it so I can just see the entire thing. Then I'll go to a higher subdivision level for this. I more or less like create something like so. I want to be sure if it's too thin. I think I might need to go one subdivision level higher for this. Or maybe even try a brush for this. Should have a particular brush that should work. Okay, I think I'll just be sticking with the standard brush for now. So I'll just get a closer view and then just on a lower subdivision level, maybe subdivision level 4 should be fine. And I'll just kind of follow this through. So I need to be a bit more careful and kind of do this right though. Yeah, something like that, something like so. That kind of gives an elevation from a glancing angle, like so. Don't know if you guys can see the elevation in there though. But something like this should be fine. So I'm just going to go to a higher subdivision level and kind of see how that looks on a higher subdivision level. It's not very obvious. Not very obvious, but still there. Yeah, I don't want it to be too crazy obvious though, but you should still feel like it's still there. So carrying on, I'll just go around and do this around the borders of this. I won't be doing this for the back though. I'll only be doing this for the front because I don't want to get this both in front and at the back also. That will just feel weird, I guess. Maybe I will just do it for both sides. Okay, let's see how it goes. But let's just, it's kind of tricky getting this. Okay, so I'll be as careful as I can get on this. Okay, something like that. Yes, something like that looks fine. I can't do this on symmetry because this is not perfectly symmetrical. It is not perfectly symmetrical. Yeah, you can see something similar also around this neck region and around here also. For the neck region, I might use something a bit more intense, but I'm going to ignore that for now and then just do the other parts. Okay. Or maybe do one like initial pass on it first. Let me leave that for now. Let me just leave that for now. Let me just do the other parts. Yeah. As much as I want to put this in here, I don't want it to be too aggressive at the same time. You don't want to go too close to the edge though, so it doesn't kind of shift what we have already created, what we have already pushed down. No? Yes. Okay. like so. I think, think now I can, let me do something for this. Maybe with a bit more intensity to it. That is way too broad. We need a smaller brush size for this. I think something like this should be fine. Okay. Let's go to, okay, let's do this. What do we have in here? For this particular one, I'm not going to be doing this at the top, but I'm definitely going to do this for the sides. So let's do that. This one should be a bit higher though, or maybe not so much. Bigger brush size, but maybe more or less a lower intensity to it. Something like that should be fine. Yeah, something like that. You can see from a distance now, it kind of, from a distance, it defines that edge, defines like a separation in. You can see like a line at the center. So this line at the center, this depth at the center, that we're going to kind of use an alpha to kind of make it feel more defined. At least now we have a landmark to kind of work with. Maybe the lower intensity also, I'll just do for the top. Something like that should be fine. Yeah, we have some, okay. Oh, I just noticed this now. The lower part should be slightly more intense. Slightly more intense. Though it's not too visible here though. But in here for this particular reference is a bit more visible. I don't know if it goes around it though. But since we have something in there, we can lower our brush size, crank up the intensity a bit more, and just make the lower part a bit more intense. Maybe not too intense though, but just enough to have something clearly visible around there. Alright, alright. Maybe it should have been more intense though. So let's see if we can intensify that some more. Okay, this should definitely have its own, and this one should be just as intense. Let's see. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Some of these are going to be hidden by the fabric detail, but it's always good to kind of have something in there that breaks up the surface a bit more. I don't think I'm going to be adding this for the lower parts. So you can see from a distance, it's more or less like in there. It doesn't look too smooth anymore like before, which is fine. This irregularity will actually give us more realism to it. It's probably one of those details that you don't take into account when you're sculpting, but once you add that in, even though they are not very obvious in your render, it still contributes to some height information that breaks up the surface more and makes it look more interesting. Okay, I think we can dive into the back now. I also want to kind of keep the what's it called? Keep the size more consistent. Do I? Okay, no matter. Let's kind of measure the draw size of this. I think that's way too broad. Let me take down the brush size a bit more. I think something like that should be fine. Yeah, that should be fine. I might just ignore this part for now. I know that later on with more intensity and a smaller brush size to it. Okay. So for this one, this should have a much wider brush size, I believe. Let's check that out. Intensity should definitely lower. Okay. If I feel the need to kind of crank that up a bit more later, like make it a bit more intense later, I'll just do that. But for now, I think this should be just fine. think I need to get a bit more intensity in there. Variation of intensity also helps though. I think this brush size is way too big. Just make sure I get a good angle to it. Probably went probably went too light-handed on this. Let me crank this up the intensity a bit more. Okay. No, no. Think yes. Then for this neck part, I think we can crank that guy up a bit more. Okay. Yeah, we definitely need to do this for the hoodie. Let's go one piece at a time. Yeah, I can see that it's a bit more obvious in here. This one even looks more like a completely different mesh entirely. But what I'm just going to do is I will add that seam there though, but what I'm going to do is I might need to draw this for both the inner part and the outer part, but that's fine. That's fine. So I'm going just one subdivision level higher. There's the wide brush size for this. Hmm, I don't know if this intensity is the right one to use though, but let's see how that is. I think can, we can make do with this. Just need to connect this properly so it doesn't feel disjointed. Camera angle is just a bit crazy right now. I don't know why. I think I may have, let me do this again. So I took down the intensity. Let me try this with much lower intensity. So I just feel like it was pulling it out way too much. Yeah, we're going around now, so I think use the lower brush intensity for this inner part. Let's see what we have. Okay, this is it. So just repeat the same thing for the other side too. I'm not sure if the size is entirely right. The inner part looks way too thin though. Way too thick though, rather. Let me just leave that inner part. It's not going to be too visible in the render anyway, so let me focus on the part that is going to be more obvious to see in the render. Should be almost done. Okay. Alright, this is looking fine. can definitely work with this. I want to make this feel a bit more obvious. Alright. Okay, I think we can take care of some other details too. Like this. Let's see if we can get this detail out of the way. I'm going to go to a higher subdivision level for this, more or less even the highest. And okay, let me just create a new layer for this just to keep things organized. I'll just name this Sims. Okay.